The devil is not attacking you because you are weak. The devil is attacking you because you are a threat, because there is something valuable inside you. Remember, thieves don't try to break into empty houses. The devil couldn't take you out, so he's trying to wear you out. So don't you ever give in, because the tide is about to turn in your favor. God knows you're tired. He knows you're trying. Put him first. Trust him. He will make a way. Even when you aren't sure of the outcome, you can be sure of your God. He is with you. He is for you. And he is working all things together for your good.
I'm touching stuff. Is that okay? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, I want to just thank a few people who came to support me today. That would be Miss Kelly in the back, if you can just raise your hand so everybody can see them, and Miss Kristen Smith. They are from the Grief House in Decatur, Georgia, which is a beautiful nonprofit organization. And so if the DBHDD is looking for another partner, I highly recommend the Grief House. Next to them is Miss Tamika Anderson, if she can raise her hand. She has a phenomenal platform called PTSD that stands for Parents Trying to Stop Dysfunction. Yes. She also sits on the inaugural Parent Advisory Council for Silence the Shame, incorporated with me as well. So if we can just give them a round of applause for coming. So my name is Azah A. Shakura. I'm the founder of Authenticity of Recovery LLC, which is a mental health, self-discovery, and educational platform, as well as an advocacy platform for mental illness, specifically for individuals with borderline personality disorder, which is a disorder that I have. And it was founded on January 1st, 2024, and it serves Atlanta, Georgia, and surrounding areas. I am also an Atlanta native, a Grady baby to be exact. Thank you. I came here today because I'd like to commend the state of Georgia and the DBHDD for pushing and implementing the Georgia House Bill 584 into law on January 1st, 2026, to combat the statewide crisis of abuse and exploitation in the system of recovery. With that said, I would like to bring a few concerns, requests, initiatives, and recommendations at this time, if you all would just give me a moment. I know we're time sensitive. The first is, due to the tremendous amount of re-traumatization that this kind of complex abuse causes, will the DBHDD provide spaces for healing and services for peers that have endured the horrific impact of abuse and exploitation in recovery, as well as peers and staff that have endured invalidation, intimidation, threats, and retaliation for speaking up? Oh, that was a question. I'll say it again. In other words, I hope that DBHDD provides healing and spaces for people who have endured this type of abuse. Also, earlier this year, I created a training program to educate peers and staff on predatory behavior in recovery spaces. Over the course of my time in recovery, I participated in 3 programs, and only one had an onboarding and orientation process that included safety and ethical protocols. The organization was Celebrate Recovery East Ridge in Covington, Georgia. I'd like to commend them for their service. I hope that the DBHDD in the coming year implements proper onboarding for all recovery facilities and provide educational training for peers entering recovery so that they have a full understanding of their rights, the code of ethics that facilitators must uphold, where to attain easy access to safely submit a report, and educate peers on what should and should not be permitted in recovery spaces.
Got 1 minute left.
Okay. I'd also like to say that the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, also known as SAMHSA, provides data analysis through surveys for mental health and substance abuse for both adult and adolescent experiences on the state, sub-state, and national level. However, there is no data to measure the scale of how often abuse and exploitation happens in the system of recovery on a national or state level. But there should be. So I created a data analysis survey prototype and sent it to SAMHSA, specifically the director of the Center for Behavioral Health, Statistics, and Quality. The goal is to officially establish a state and national data to track how often abuse and exploitation occurs in recovery systems across the United States. I saw earlier that you guys are very data-driven. I believe that type of data is necessary.
I got 15 seconds.
Okay. I thank you for giving me the time, but I'm not finished.
Well,
I like to say sometimes that I'm not one of you guys fancy people. I don't have a big title. I don't have all the things that you all have done here. I'm just a middle-aged black woman that walks with a limp on the west side of Atlanta. But once upon a time, I was one of the statistics and these pie graphs that you all have on these boards. I was a peer in recovery. I dealt with substance abuse. I dealt with suicidal ideations. So I do ask that you be respectful enough to give me just a few more minutes to finish. I will be very respectful and courteous of your time. I do have a recommendation, is that you amend the CPS project so that it doesn't include predatory behavior analysis, something that it does not currently include right now. And that is going for both the training manual as well as the annual mandated peer ethics training. There are eight scenarios in the training manual, none of which talks about misconduct of any facilitator. That must be amended. It also must be amended in its training. Now let me move on to my last statement, and then I'll be finished. The Georgia House Bill 584 is a historic legislation that will set the standard for safe recovery. It is bigger than the state of Georgia. The DBHDD has the opportunity to not just set the bar, but to embody a national framework for what safe recovery looks like. Far too many peers in Georgia and across the United States have had to unfortunately recover from their recovery. As they listen to their state's mantras, such as recovery is real, heal in public, and anonymous no more, peers that have experienced abuse and exploitation in recovery have had to recover in silence. This is the absolute antithesis of what it means to recover out loud. In the last few years, I have both experienced and witnessed these horrific kinds and devastating and very complex type of abuse. And through collaborations with advocates across the country, I've learned that these exact same experiences happen across state lines. The Georgia House Bill 584 is more than just legislation. It is an echo of possibilities to peers in recovery all around the United States. Advocates in other states are leaning on the state of Georgia to be the goal, full of hopes to achieve the same amount of liberation for peers in their home state. This legislation speaks for people that have had to endure relapses, hospitalization, complex PTSD, suicide ideations, distress, insecurity, major depression, severe grief, stress, coma, emotional numbness, systems, and have complete lost faith in the system of recovery. It speaks to the women that have been raped, sexually assaulted, and who have bore children due to sexual exploitation, and these same children now have to grow up and heal from the impact of this type of abuse. This legislation speaks for people that have had to endure invalidation, belittling, minimizing, forced silence, fear, intimidation, threats on their life, retaliation, and loss of recovery community, and had no alternative support. This legislation speaks for far too many peers that have died due to unchecked abuse and exploitation, leadership turning a blind eye, and far too many excuses. These peers will never come back, and they will never get to witness the day in Georgia where they could have been safe while they were hanging on to their last line of hope. A day when their lives could have been saved. One of the main reasons that sent me spiraling before my recovery was the suicide of my twin sister. She too struggled with severe mental health challenges, spent time in psych wards, and endured sexual exploitation and abuse. She never could shake the impact of these events, resulting in her taking her own life. So I do not care what anyone thinks about how I have gone about addressing this matter. My sister, as well as thousands of people in recovery all across the United States, both who have passed away and those who are still alive, both past, present, and future, all deserve better. So I do not stand here merely asking the DBHDD to uphold and critically enforce this legislation. I demand it. If there are gaps, then quickly and sufficiently fill the gaps. If clarity is needed, make it clear. If support is requested, then swiftly make it happen. And if accountability is necessary, then press hard and press onward. Individuals exhibiting predatory behavior in recovery do not deserve to hold the power of fear and silence in their hands, and I refuse to give them that much power. And lastly, as I apply a quote from my favorite revolutionary and legendary king of recovery in his own right, Malcolm X, to my final request to the DBHDD, I'd like to state that no matter what you do, come 2026, please protect the safety of all peers in recovery as if they were your own loved ones. Do not fail these people by any means necessary. Do I make myself clear, Commissioner? Thank you all for letting me speak today. I wish you all a happy holiday. And let me just lastly say, my own mantra that I had to create is that your authenticity has the power to set someone free. Thank you.